Hey everyone, I know it's been a little while since we've been in the shed, but we have something really exciting to talk about today. I have a little bit of an orange crush and I want to tell you about it. And no, the orange crush is not the bottle of pop. I'm from Ohio, it's pop, fight me. I want to talk about Prusa. I have been highly interested and excited about Prusa 3D printers since I got into 3D printing, which happened to be around the same time the Mark III came out. I believe it was 2017 or so. This is not a Mark III. However, if you look at it, you could be pretty fooled pretty easily. This is actually a i3 Mark 2.5S. That name is a mouthful. You get all of the features of the Mark III with the exception of this not being a 24-volt system. It doesn't have the quieter drivers with sensorless homing, but what I was really excited about was the Bondtech direct drive system and the magnetic flex plate. I have been running an OSEC build plate, this kind of really cool satiny sheet, for the last few months, and I absolutely love it. And around this time last year, I got really interested in multi-material printing, so I picked up the MMU2 for my Mark 2.5S. I haven't played with it a lot. It's kind of finicky and it takes some time to get set up. What I'm hoping for is now that we have all of this awesome studio space, we'll be able to do some really cool projects with this guy. But my orange crush of today is not my Mark 2.5S. What we're going to be talking about today is something way more exciting. The Prusa i3 Mark IV 3D printer. The Mark IV has been kind of memed in the 3D printing world for a really long time now. Everybody's been chomping at the bit for this thing to come out. I'm no exception. I've been patiently waiting and biding my time to see what exactly Prusa is going to do. But it's 2023. We have machines like the Bamboo P1P, the Anchor Make M5, and several other high-speed printers that are legitimately speed in a box. Or, on the flip side of that, there are DIY kits out, like the Vorons. Those things are lightning fast. I have about an 80% completed one in the house. I still need to wire it up and get it running. But one of my absolute best friends in the world has now built a Voron 2.4 and a V0, and he loves them both. Those things are blistering. The Anchor Make, incredibly fast. My Bamboo, that thing is like a racehorse on steroids. It goes fast, but it is loud. Absolute biggest gripe that I have with my Bamboo P1P is that machine is loud as crap. I've seen a lot of things that people are doing to help quiet the machine down, like putting the DIY enclosures around them, decoupling them using pavers and foam, a really cool trick that we saw Stefan from CNC Kitchen do a couple years back. But those machines still not why we're here. Prusa is a company that has been around since some of the very first days of consumer 3D printing, making some of the absolute best heated plates for your build plate on the market. And over time, Joe Prusa got involved in actually making machines, starting with upgrades to the old Mendel series printers. So Prusa is a company that's like the granddaddy of them all. This Ender 3 S1 is basically a clone of the i3 style machines. This one is not all that different from my little 2.5S here. It's different enough, and then it's a cheaper Chinese machine, which is great if you're on a budget, because Prusa machines are not exactly known for being cheap. So what exactly is the Prusa i3 Mark IV going to be? Is it a speedboat race printer? Is it a workhorse? Is it for students? Is it for makers? This thing's for everybody. So the price tag is not on the low end, with the kit coming in at $1,099 US. The machine is not exactly cheap. It's over double what I paid for my Ender 3 S1. However, you get a lot more features. Now, I'm not going to read off the spec sheet because that is boring. You get no value from that. Basically, Prusa took everything that was great about the Mark III and just rammed it into 2023. It has a 32-bit main board running Trinamic 2130 drivers, so this thing is whisper quiet. In the description below, I'm actually going to have a link to their video of the Mark IV doing a sub 20-minute benchy, and it is so quiet, way quieter than my Bamboo at the same speeds. They have also added a touchscreen, beautifully done, wonderful execution. It uses a USB drive instead of having to fiddle with an SD card, which is excellent. They've actually changed up the frame. There's this really cool hexagonal pattern on the back of the steel frame now. And it's using their neck extruder, which was developed largely for the Prusa XL. One of the other biggest memes in the 3D printing world. Everybody's been waiting. Everybody loves their Prusas. Now, there's going to be some people who are going to complain, it doesn't have this, it doesn't have that, they ripped off such and such. Guys, we're finally getting the Mark IV. Let's be happy, because when Prusa does something new, everybody else wants to copy them. I mean, Creality did it, and they're one of the biggest 3D printing manufacturers in the freaking world. So, obviously, Prusa is doing something that's winning. Let's just take a moment to enjoy that fact. Now, also, something super exciting. The Mark IV has networking built in, and it's not a cloud-based thing. Now, you can add networking to your other Prusa series machines. Like, I actually have a Raspberry Pi running Octoprint on my Mark 2.5S, which has been absolutely awesome. But the Mark IV is designed for Prusa Connect, their own machine management software. And I recently found out that my Mark 2.5S is compatible. So we're going to have an upcoming video on the channel where I'm going to show you how to set up and install Prusa Connect on a Mark 2.5S or other machine. So go ahead and subscribe for that one. Again, I don't want to just read off a spec sheet and list off all of these same things that you're going to be able to find in the machine description on the Prusa website, which I will have linked to below. Instead, I want to talk about what's exciting about this machine. All of these new features are a very good thing for you and me, because what that means is now some of these other lower priced machine competitors are going to have to start chasing again. Creality is not going to be able to keep pumping out Ender 3 after Ender 3 unless they step it up and start thinking about some of these other features that Prusa's working on. Like, for example, this build plate that came on my Ender 3S1 sucks. Not because of the spring steel. It's actually a really good quality. This BuildTak clone whatever surface is terrible. Things either stick to it way too well or not at all, and I hate it. The textured PEI sheet that Prusa revolutionized on the Mark III, however, we're starting to see those trickle into everything. That's what my P1P from Bamboo came with stock. 3D printing manufacturers are learning from each other, but when you have an industry leader like Prusa paving the way with a new machine release, that means there are so many more exciting things coming down the pipeline for everybody. Plus, this thing is beautiful. Just look at it. Would you look at that? Now, obviously, the Mark IV is going to do everything that you expect a Prusa to do. You're going to be able to push print and go. That's been the shared experience from most folks who own a Prusa machine. This is one machine that I've owned that I have never had to babysit a first layer on because it just works. Every single part that comes off of this machine looks just like the predecessor. And that is amazing. I used my Mark 2.5S very heavily during the early months of 2020, making ear savers in conjunction with my friend to donate to local hospitals, police departments, healthcare workers, things like that, for people who were out in the thick of the mess. So, if I can get that reliability coupled with the speed of my Bamboo and the silence of another printer, man, it's going to be really hard to not buy this machine. Another really exciting feature about the Mark IV is you no longer have to worry about dialing in that first layer. No more Z offset adjustment, no more live Z, no more baby stepping. The next extruder that is coming off of the Prusa XL is actually going to automatically calibrate the first layer for you using a load cell. How sweet is that? There are very few machines using load cell / strain gauge leveling. There's a handful, like the Anycubic Viper, the CR6SE, both of those come to mind. But those machines are not using those sensors for automatic calibration. They're just using them to check and make sure that they're touching the bed. One thing I'm not super stoked about is the Mark IV does have some propriety. The quick swap nozzle system sounds really cool. They're using 2 thumb screws on the sides of the next extruder for you to be able to easily change the nozzles, but they are Prusa specific to my knowledge. However, there is an adapter so you can use your favorite V6 style nozzles, and I think that is fantastic. We've seen the V6 nozzles for a really long time, and when you factor in nozzles like the Bridgemaster from Slice Engineering or the CHT from Bondtech, you still get those options to use the industry standard in terms of nozzle technology. Love it! Prusa sneakily released the Mark IV this week, and as of the time of filming this video, there's only a 6 to 7 week lead time on a fully assembled Mark IV, which, like I said, is priced at $1,099 US. That's pretty spectacular. I'm really hoping to be able to get my hands on one later this year. After years of waiting, years of the memery, we're finally seeing the Mark IV. I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited about what this means for the industry. But what I want to know even more is, what are your thoughts? Is the Mark IV a must-have for you? Is it going to fit your home, your workshop, your school, or your office? Or is this machine a total pass? Let me know in the comments below. The price tag is a little...